Hi, I'm Evan.
Hi, my name is Aleia.
I'm Henry.
I'm Carmen.
And we are
Urban Agriculture.
I chose this topic because I thought it would be good to see a combination between nature in the form of agriculture in the middle of a city and the benefits it would provide.
I chose this topic because I thought it would be interesting to see how we can put urban farms in Sacramento and in our own community.
I was interested in this topic because I wanted to see how urban farms could be in our own communities.
I chose this topic because I like plants, and also similar to what they said, I like the idea of having agriculture in a city environment.
Okay, and so our research topic that we decided was how can technology be implemented in an urban farm to grow efficiently within the special conditions a farm needs.
To create our question, we started by brainstorming and throwing a bunch of random words at a piece of paper that had to do with our topic.
And once we came up with those words, we chose ones that most related to our question and brainstormed a bunch more questions and came into one big research question.
Okay, so like we said, we are urban agriculture, but first of all, what is urban agriculture? Now, it might be surprising to hear, but a lot of people here, or hopefully some people here, are actually urban farmers. If you have chickens and are raising chickens in your backyard, congrats, you're an urban farmer. Vertical gardens is a very big and popular type of urban agriculture right now. You can see literally the biggest vertical farm in America at the San Francisco MoMA. It's called the Living Wall. It's 30 feet tall and it's just a garden on a wall. Beekeeping, backyard beekeeping is not as popular, but it's still a method of urban agriculture. Rooftop gardens, you can see a lot of examples in downtown Sacramento on a lot of the buildings. And then finally, community gardens, which are very simple but a tried and true method of urban agriculture. So why are we even talking about urban agriculture? Why is this important? Well, in 2012, there were almost 4,500 farms that sold their produce directly to restaurants, grocery stores, and markets, which is incredible. That means that many people and that many farmers are selling locally. However, there were actually 78,000 farms in California that year, meaning that less than 6% of the farms were selling locally. And if they're not selling locally, where are all of these other farmers selling to? Well, on average, it takes 1,500 miles for your food to travel to your plate. And those 1,500 miles really make an impact on the world. They release carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, and other dangerous gases that really affect us. And in 2012, there were 950 cases of asthma that were directly related to the worsened air quality brought upon by food transports. So my team and I, we looked at this information, we saw these awful things, and we said, how can we help? How can we change the way the world is going right now? So we created our own little questions and combined it to make this one research question, which is essentially asking, how can technology put urban farms in a city? Because obviously we can't have a 10-acre farm in the middle of downtown, but maybe there's a different way we can have a farm in downtown.
Okay, so next we're going to start talking about the methods of farming. And one of the methods is vertical farming, which is obviously when we grow stuff towards the sky instead of across. So one of the methods is hydroponics, aeroponics, and there's also the one with soil where it's basically just plants in a pot just going upwards instead. And also this is a farm scraper, which is more of a futuristic idea developed in China. And it's used to help make the air quality better in China where the air quality isn't as good. And it's also an urban farm because it has orchards on it, as you can see right there. So aeroponics is when water is sprayed onto the roots of a plant, and which makes it more air-like, and it's given its nutrients that way. And with hydroponics, the roots are actually suspended in the water, so that's the difference between the two. So both aeroponics and hydroponics use less water. Hydroponics uses 10% less water, and aeroponics uses less water. I'm not sure the exact amount. And also both hydroponics and aeroponics can be used to grow plants, and they can also be grown vertically or indoors. So the next kind of farming we're going to talk about is indoor and underground farming. So most of this information on indoor and underground farming was found through the Plant Lab, which is a farm in Holland where it grows plants underground. And it uses technical methods to get their nutrients that way. So some pros of underground and indoor farming is that it uses 90% less water. Also, the conditions are controlled and it has year-round production. Some cons of it is that it uses a lot of energy and the technology can be really hard to understand. Also, because of all the energy and the technology, it costs a lot of money. And the next one we're going to talk about is community gardens. They aren't very technical, but they exist, and they're important to urban farming. And one of the benefits to them is that they improve property value, and they also give education opportunities for the community around them. And they also provide healthy food for food deserts, which are places that don't have access to healthy food. So next we're going to talk about the technical parts of indoor and vertical farming.
So we get it. The benefits might outweigh the disadvantages with something like aeroponics or hydroponics, but how exactly do they work and why would that happen? Well, hydroponics, it has 6 different types inside of it, inside that broad category, and the basis is that water comes into direct contact with the plant's roots, so supplying them the nutrients that they need to survive. One of which is oxygen, which is needed so the roots don't starve. Aeroponics, which is just one of the many subcategories, is basically the same thing, but instead the water solution is misted onto the roots every few minutes. So they're not drowning it, but they're also not completely nutrientized. Out in indoor farms, one of their methods is called phenotyping their plants, which means that they get the genetic sequence of the plants and then they run mathematical models to figure out what optimal growing conditions are going to be. They can use sensors to monitor if these are growing well and or if they're with the phenotypes that were predicted, one of which is electromagnetic, which turns the soil into a circuit so that it can test moisture level, and it tests the acidity, which tells how healthy the plant is going to be. Because acidity means it has more or less nutrients. And the electrochemical just detects activity, if the roots are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And if you're farming indoors, you're not going to have a way of getting natural light normally. So there's LED lighting, which is just red and blue wavelengths, because that's been scientifically proven to be all that a plant needs to grow. And so you use less energy on that. Community gardens, I can't say much about. The most advanced piece of technology is probably going to be the people's brains.
So why should you care? Well, look at where the world is going. As you might know, in 2050 there will be about 9 billion people on this planet. So we should start doing more urban farms. And one of the benefits is it reduces transportation costs. And by this I mean you don't have to travel as far to get your local produce. And it saves energy and water. And also it helps the community by sharing food and it gets people together. And how you can help is by creating vertical gardens in your backyard and starting maybe your own garden. And where I've seen this recently is in Chicago, and it was really successful, so I think we should start it here in Sacramento. So now it's your turn to start making vertical gardens and even your own little garden in your backyard.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Oh. Yeah.
So are you saying that plants can actually grow with no soil, with just water?
Yeah.
Is it enriched with nutrients, or is it just plain old tap water?
It has nutrients in it, because that's what the soil provides to plants normally, so they're using water to give that to them instead.
Crazy.
Very good.
Thank you.